What's up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the You're Deluded podcast. We've got our team with us here today. Would you like to introduce yourself? Firstly, we've got
Svirigo, Arsenal fan here.
Arsenal fan. He's obviously going to be very deluded, like Ty on AFTV. Then we've got, secondly,
Moshe, Arsenal fan.
another Arsenal fan. And you've got myself, who you'll probably know already, Solomon, West Ham United supporter. Come on, you Irons. And today, we'll just be talking about the events that unfolded this week in the world of football. So firstly, guys, what do you think about over at Newcastle? Steve Bruce has got the sack. Do you think that was fair, or do you think that was unfair?
Personally, I think he saw it coming. I think there was a lot of speculation the moment the owners agreed the deal. And I think it was inevitable at one point.
Yep. Owners come in, they've got billions in their wallets, probably more billions than friends, actually. So they're going to want to have a bit of ambition at that club. And Steve Bruce, he's not won a game this season yet in the Premier League. We're quite deep into the season, not that deep, but deep enough that you'd expect a win from a team like that. You know, they've got players like Willock, Wilson, Alan Maximin, especially. What a player that he is. And no wins, 19th in the Premier League, simply not good enough. Sve, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fair that you got the sack. Just because we're in relegation, with the new owners coming in, they're going to be looking to win trophies. And I don't think Steve Bruce will be bringing that to the club. And
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. But I have to say, the abuse he got from fans online, you don't want to see stuff like that in the game. You can understand the frustration from the fans, but he's still a human at the end of the day, and he's a very nice guy. As Alan Maximin said on Twitter, he's a proper gentleman, and he's talked about possibly not going back into the game because of the abuse he received. Football aside, it's unacceptable. What do you think of that?
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. You shouldn't be questioning a manager at all. It's not alright. You shouldn't be doing that in the game of football.
Yeah, you can understand the frustration on the pitch, but once you take it that step further and you send abuse to someone like that, that's just simply not on. So now on to replacement. Who do you think Newcastle should get as a replacement?
To be honest, I think it's now inevitable. I think Paolo Francesco, the man who managed Roma and rejected Spurs in the summer, I think he's the man that's going to get the job. I don't think he's a man that wants all the superstars to come in. I don't think he's the one that will keep that job. I think Zidane will come in, or Conte.
Yeah, they can get anyone, really. With that sort of money, they can get anyone. They can even get me. If you're listening, hire me. I'm available. Anyway, I thought maybe Zinedine Zidane. They've got enough money. You mentioned him. They've got enough money. Why not get it done now? Bring him in, give him a big budget in January, and why not? And obviously, he won't get much done this season, but going forward, he definitely can. The man's available for the job. I would say to get him. What do you think?
I think is Allegri still free Solomon?
He's at Juve now.
He's
at Juve. Juve are not doing great at the moment, but I think they're starting to get better.
Yeah, I think the loss of Ronaldo is obviously huge.
Obviously, that is massive for anyone to lose Ronaldo.
Him as a replacement. It's not the best replacement, but with the financial budget that they've got, I don't think they can really do much better.
Yeah, they need a goal scorer. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking of Juve are an Italian team, as we know, and now I'm going to talk about a bit about Italy's captain. I think. Italy's captain? No. Okay, forget I said that. One of the Italian geezers in the team, Jorginho. As we're getting closer to the Ballon d'Or, a lot of people have been mentioning Jorginho's name, and personally, I think that's not really fair. I don't think Jorginho should be there. I think that's ridiculous and very reactionary, to be honest. If you're going to be putting Jorginho in the Ballon d'Or list, even in the top 30, and people are saying he should get first, he should win the thing. What do you think of that?
I mean, in a way, the Chelsea fans might be looking at it. Luka Modric won it, 2, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, but even that people thought was crazy. And Jorginho has never been at the level, even near the level of Luka Modric in that season.
If you look at it, other people are thinking, Messi's obviously a favourite. Benzema's done really well with Real Madrid.
Well, obviously, we don't really want to talk about Karim Benzema right now. Fabrizio Romano has given a statement saying Karim Benzema could be on his way to Prison FC. So,
Big team.
yeah, big team. Prison FC, decent side.
Saudi owners need to look into that.
Yeah, possibly. They're a decent team. I'll back them to win the Champions League if they carry on recruiting the way they are. Um, but yeah, I think it's ridiculous that Jorginho's even being nominated. The only reason he's there is because the trophies he won. I'm not going to take that away from him. He won the Champions League with Chelsea and he won the Euros with Italy. But was it really him? What do you think?
No, obviously he was very involved in the Euros and the Champions League. I wouldn't think Ballon d'Or is the best. It's the best thing a single player can win. And Messi, best player of all time, surely is so much better. Carry them to Copa America.
Yeah, and also may I add that the Ballon d'Or is an individual trophy. It's not meant to be a team trophy. You've been in this team.
If you look at it, Jorginho won it, and then some of you may not remember him. Emerson, the left back, on loan at Lyon now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. So what? You're going to tell me Emerson should be there?
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And also, let me add as well, Sergio Busquets, plays in the same role as Jorginho.
Much better player. In his prime, he was.
Sergio Busquets is 500 times a player. Jorginho is and ever will be. And he's never even been in the top 20 in the Ballon d'Or list. So to say Jorginho as first, just because he was involved in two sides.
Maybe Busquets has won everything as well.
If Sergio Busquets played for the likes of Man United or Man City, Liverpool, he's won the Ballon d'Or already.
Yeah.
That's very true, yeah.
Also, 2014, Sami Khedira won the World Cup, the Champions League, and La Liga. Not even in the top 30. So
Frank
I think.
Ribery had an amazing season once, and he didn't get it. Wesley Sneijder.
Yeah. But yeah, it just shows how ridiculous this is. And people say about, oh well, he won the Euros with Italy. Well, hold on. Let's go back to it a second. Who remembers the Euro final in the penalty shootout? He missed his penalty.
Correct, yeah.
He missed his
And then
penalty.
if you look at it,
How?
Andres Iniesta won Spain World Cup.
Yeah.
In 2000.
Yeah.
So
He
he had a
missed
very,
his
very good
penalty.
season that season.
He missed his penalty. In a different world, if Bukayo Saka puts that penalty away, we won't talk about that. He's a young player, whatever. We've all accepted that the mistakes were done and whatever, and England will come back stronger. But in an ideal world, if Bukayo Saka puts that away and England go on to win the penalty shootout, everyone will be blaming Jorginho.
Yeah.
And just because something out of his control went differently, he's now being nominated for Ballon d'Or and whatever. I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's only the Chelsea fans who actually think that Jorginho deserves
Well,
the Ballon d'Or.
honestly, I don't think it's deserved, but I think he's definitely in with a shout because of the circumstances. I don't know why that's happened, but I don't think it's unrealistic. He's in the top 30.
Yeah,
He's been nominated already.
Personally,
The fact that he's even there is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's there. He's in the list, and it's ridiculous.
I
Anyway,
mean, personally, if you ask me, I think Mateo Kovacic is actually been benched by Jorginho. He's always on the bench. I think he's a much better player than Jorginho actually is.
definitely. So talking of, you mentioned Mateo Kovacic. Mateo Kovacic is from Croatia. As we know, Croatia's top side, Dynamo Zagreb, are currently featuring in the UEFA Europa League this season. Did he? Maybe it's highly likely he maybe did. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the UEFA Europa League. As you know, my club, West Ham United, had a fantastic week in the Europa League, beat Genk 3-0 in what was a great game. Completely controlled the game, and we just put our chances away. And it's led to a lot of
centre backs to help you out a bit.
yeah.
Back to the front.
Yeah. Not even the start, not even the first choice ones as well. So
Both of them scored.
yeah, it's great, and it led to a lot of people talking. Who are actually the favourites to win the Europa League? In your opinion, who do you think the favourites are currently?
I mean, obviously, you look at West Ham; they've got a good side, but then when the pressure comes to them, and they've already started to get those injuries when they play their team on Thursday, and then the same players play on the Sunday. I think those injuries are starting to build up, and I also think.
I mean, there haven't been any so far, but it's very possible.
All it takes is Declan Rice to get injured on a weekend or in a Europa League.
Yeah.
Suchek, Antonio, all these big players that play for West Ham, they get injured. They lose them out in the weekend. They lose them out in the Europa League, and personally, I think when they get to the second legs, Arsenal have been there, lost to Villarreal, lost to Olympiacos. There's all it takes is two matches. It's 180 minutes. Who's better?
Well, currently the current official odds are West Ham are the favourites currently 13-1. Second favourites are Leicester and Lyon 16-1, and then Bayer Leverkusen 20-1.
Napoli aren't there?
Napoli are currently not there as the favourites. Napoli have won one, drawn one, and lost one in their group so far. The only team they beat was Legia Warsaw, was it?
Yeah.
Legia Warsaw. Yeah. They lost to Spartak Moscow and they drew to Leicester when they very nearly lost to Leicester. Other teams to mention, I'd definitely say Lyon. They've won all 3 of their games.
I mean, they had a thriller in the last game, didn't they?
Yeah.
They won 4-3 or something.
Something like that, yeah. And
they play good football as well.
Yeah, worthy teams to mention: Real Betis, Bayern Leverkusen, Galatasaray, Monaco, and Frankfurt all won 2 of their games and drawn the other one, so they're currently still unbeaten. And they seem to be good sides. Real Betis, decent side. Bayern Leverkusen.
Love to represent the Arsenal.
Yeah, Hector Bellerin, a bit of a donkey, but...
solid.
Okay. Well, we could talk about that on another day. I'll definitely think in his prime was a good player.
I mean, he got that ACL injury.
Yeah, it kills a lot of players.
I remember, we won 2-0 that game, and I think since then, of course, some players, they get the ACL, then they could come better, or they could not reach up to their standards. I mean, look at Van Dijk, he got the ACL, was out for the whole season, and then came back, and I think he's back to his normal.
Yeah, it might take Hector Bellerin some time to get back into...
Yeah, I mean, I think for a right back with the pace he had, I think he was one of the, if not the best right back in the Premier League, just before his ACL.
As a youngster,
That is very debatable.
He won trophies with Arsenal, FA Cup. He was a good modern footballer.
He's a good player.
He was named into the PFA Team of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. Barca were looking at him. Those are big clubs were looking at him.
Yeah, I remember that, actually. And then we've got Bayern Leverkusen, good players. Florian Wirtz. One to mention, Patrick Schick, some very good players.
Jeremy Frimpong, a right back, have Sopa.
Yeah, Monaco have some decent players. Fabregas, another ex-Arsenal, Holland. Deluded.
Niko Kovac, who managed Bayern Munich.
Yeah, solid side. And then Frankfurt.
I think Leicester, though. I think they could be another favourite.
I mean, Leicester, we all saw what happened to them last year.
They lost to
Slavia Prague. That was not a great game. Obviously, West Ham had very strong ties with Slavia Prague until the old racism incident.
I mean, Daka just scored 4 goals in that game.
Yeah, Leicester they've got a very good side.
I mean, I like Daka. I think when he was at Salzburg, he really flourished when Haaland left. He really showed his quality.
Shows his pace and everything,
Leicester have definitely got a good side. But I think when it comes down to it, in those sort of European away games and against those sort of foreign sides, they do seem to sometimes struggle and crumble under the pressure. As we saw with Slavia Prague last year, as we saw at home against Napoli, they lost to Legia Warsaw, I'm pretty sure, away, and they seemed to struggle against Spartak. They were behind quite a bit. They got the result though, so I'll give them that.
As we talk about Napoli, I still feel like even though they got 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss,
they've definitely got that quality.
They've definitely got the quality. I still think they'll come through.
Decent players.
Koulibaly, of course, in the defence.
They've got goal scorers. They've got some squad depth.
But it doesn't seem to be all going right for them. But that is subject to change. And some other teams we've got to talk about are the dropouts from the UCL. So we'll get on to that. So the current way the new Europa League format works is obviously you've got less teams now. So a lot of the teams that you'd see in last year's Europa League currently competing in the Conference League, and it's half the size tournament now. And so second place of the Europa League group stage goes to play in a round of 32 against the third place of the Champions League dropout team. and the winner progresses to round 16. All the first place teams go straight to round 16. So currently, I'll read out the list of teams that are currently third in the UCL. Club Brugge, decent side. Porto, another very good side.
They've got Luis Diaz, who's linked with Newcastle, actually.
Yeah.
So like his 70 million release clause, and he's been linked with them, which
So
he's a
decent.
decent player. Everton missed out on him the last minute of the deadline day. They were linked with him for quite a while.
Again, yeah, they almost beat Juve. Did they beat Juve last year?
Yeah, they knocked out Juve.
Yeah,
Knocked out Juve. They are a side to be reckoned with, definitely.
With Ronaldo as well.
Remy up top, yeah, he's decent.
Yeah.
Then you've got Sporting Lisbon, another decent side. Inter Milan, but that is the group with Sheriff and Shakhtar in it. So I do think, as much admiration as I have for Sheriff, I do think it will be either Sheriff or Shakhtar Donetsk that do finish in that third place. Then you've got Barcelona. Ooh. Barcelona are third in theirs, but they also have Benfica there.
They're struggling, but I think they'll still go.
Yeah, also I think that is realistic. Barcelona probably will, but
Benfica,
it wouldn't be a surprise to see.
in their group.
It wouldn't be a surprise to see.
have a good team.
Yeah, Benfica could not. I think at the moment they're ahead
But
of them.
young boys, did they beat United?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So next, Atalanta. So that is a group of the young boys, and it could be Atalanta, it could be young boys. Atalanta are a decent side once as well.
Who's the other team? Villarreal.
United.
Who've got Unai Emery. If they drop out, which I don't think they will.
That's dangerous if they do. Yeah.
They're a dangerous side.
Yeah. Then Lille, decent team. Zenit, decent team.
Yeah.
So, as much as it's nice to say West Ham are the favourites, do I think we'll go on to win it? That's a whole different matter. We still got to see how we do. It's early days.
To, like, the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think everyone's just there for the ride, really, just to see how we do. We're new to the tournament.
Expecting as well. I think. Well, I heard a press conference from one of the players, and they were saying that it's a nice cup run, but I don't think their ambition is to actually win it.
No, there's definitely an ambition to win it, but realistically speaking, it's a hard tournament to win. But why not give it a go? I think teams should definitely be afraid of West Ham at the moment.
Both Europa League and the Champions League. If you want to win it, you have to have the squad depth.
Yeah.
And the question is, do West Ham, Napoli, and all these teams, do they have the squad depth with the injuries which they'll pick up? Do West Ham? What do you think, Solomon?
So I think we've definitely got some squad depth in our defence. We can rotate our defence around.
That's it.
We can rotate our keepers around. Our midfield, if something happens to Declan Rice or to Souček, I think Alex Kraul we've now got him so he can come in. I do think. I think Alex Kraul, he seems to be a good player off the Man United game, but again, you'd rather have Declan Rice, definitely. But I think we're right there. Attackingly, winger-wise, 10-wise, it's fine. It's fine. You can bring in players like Yarmolenko and Vlasic can come in. Yarmolenko in the Premier League. In the Premier League, he's not such a great player, but I definitely think in Europa League when he gets that sort of space. Personally, I'm really not a fan of Yarmolenko, but we all seen what he did at the Euros, and when you give him space against teams like that, I think he's more suited to that style of football. So he's slightly better there.
Yeah, you want him to get on his left foot.
But I think it's highly unlikely again that things will happen to any of our attackers who've stayed fit for a long time, and you can't just assume everyone's going to get an injury. Of course. But they can come, and I think Vlasic, when he can come in, he'll be a fine player. He just needs a little bit of time to settle into the team, to get a bit of football in. I think once the minutes comes, he'll definitely settle into life more. But the only problem is with the striker, Mikel Antonio. If something happens to him, we could play Jared Bowen as a false nine, which we did against.
I think it's much better to just go
against Genk. Yeah, I think that David Solomon, if you're listening, hurry up, sign a striker, get one on the line. That Spartak Moscow guy looks alright, sign him. But anyway, nice speaking about this today. We'll catch you guys next week on the next episode of the You're Deluded podcast. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.